Now, throughout this liturgical year, we're going to be hearing a lot from the Gospel of Mark, and some of it rather odd and curious. Like today, Jesus expels a demon in front of a packed congregation and rebukes the evil spirit from revealing who Jesus really is. This happens time and again in Mark. You'd think that Jesus would want people to know his true identity. Peculiar to this particular gospel, this sort of thing is referred to by biblical scholars as the messianic secret. And what that means is that Jesus hides his identity as the Son of God until it's made apparent after his crucifixion. Demonic knowledge of him, although it does invoke a true title, doesn't begin to catch the mystery of his person, which involves suffering and death. Something the Jews and even the apostles can't even conceive of in a Messiah. Jesus doesn't want the people of Israel, who are expecting a powerful political deliverer, to assign their spin on what Messiah really means. He wants them to open their hearts and minds to his example and his teaching, not to the signs and wonders that only accompany them. There's a second odd and curious thing happening in today's reading. Jesus performs an exorcism right in the middle of a synagogue service. Now, to our way of thinking, there's just no room for evil in a sacred space. I mean, surely the devil couldn't get any farther in this church than those holy water fonts, right? Don't let yourself be fooled. The devil can take a bath in holy water. He probably gargles with it too. He and his mob are drifting in and out of here right now, whispering in various ears to tune out this homily and the Eucharistic liturgy to follow, and think about things like, who's going to win the Super Bowl today? Steelers. They're currently whispering in my ear right now in order to take my focus off your spiritual well-being and direct it to the fact that I'm up here and you're down there, and you've got to listen to my silver-tongued spew speech at you. Well, it's certainly no secret that temptations can come to us at any time, even in the midst of the sacred. Because the battle of good and evil is always being waged, everywhere. There's a third curious and odd thing that happens in this reading. The people are astounded. Not by the fact that an evil spirit just came screaming out of a person right there in front of them, but by his teaching. Now, I don't know about you, but if Father Norman got up off of this chair right now and expelled a shrieking demon out of one of you, astounded wouldn't begin to describe the way I'd be feeling. And Mark tells us why they were astounded. Because Jesus taught with authority. He taught them as no one had ever done before or since. Now, in this day and age, we tend to be pretty skeptical of authority and are reluctant to accept anything just because someone told us. And that's because all too often, those in authority have abused their power. And it's understandable because we feel let down and our trust has been betrayed. We feel that We can't always rely on those in charge because they fail to carry out their responsibilities. And they give everybody a bad name. And it was exactly the same situation in Jesus' day. Back then, the authorities, the scribes, and the Pharisees placed burdens on the people that they themselves refused to pick up and carry. They swallowed camels, but strained gnats, as the Lord once told them. But Jesus exercised His authority completely differently. How? By exercising His authority with gentleness and mercy. He, the Son of God and the Lord of all creation, who could rule all, doesn't. He who could destroy even the evil spirits doesn't. He simply rebukes them. He who could call armies of angels to defend Him doesn't. Instead, He allows Himself to be taken into custody, tried, tortured, and executed for us. How many honey-throated political deliverers have done that? What's brought out into the open here is that it's what Jesus doesn't do that's more astounding than what He does do. The prophets of old were faced with a stubborn people who could not see God's will. And for the most part, they were fiery preachers who used strong language and threats to put their message across. Jesus doesn't do this. He's way better than a prophet. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't shout and bawl. He doesn't really ever get angry with the people. And His message is, blessed are the poor. Love your neighbor. Go to those who persecute you. Pray for the coming of the kingdom. Here is real authority. Here is the authority of God Himself. Here is an authority figure who respects us more than we respect ourselves. Here is an authority figure that goes so far as to give His life for others' sake. The crowd was spellbound because Jesus spoke with real authority, and people are no different now than they were back then. And especially today. People want, they need to hear the real Word of God and feel God's presence in the words of the speaker. And I'll tell you another secret. We can do this. When we were confirmed, we received the power, the authority to defeat evil in the world and lead others to Jesus, the source of all truth. This authority is given to us by God. And if others can witness the Word of God present and active in our lives, then they are better able to choose to make the Word of God present in their own lives. We can make Jesus' presence real for others. We have the authority to do this. Now, as all of you know, the light of a single candle can dispel the most encompassing gloom of darkness. And we've all been given a light. And you know, if all of those lights are joined together, we can conquer the black night of evil and bring the bright dawn of the resurrection to all around us. We have the authority to do this because Jesus gave it to us. And even as the demons know, Jesus is the Holy One of God.